Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
She's Professor Snape.
She's been calling me Professor Snape. Anyway, a Happy New Year. It is now 2022, unbelievably.
Today's New Year's Day.
Today's New Year's Day. You'll be seeing this on New Year's 2, day 2 of the new year. We hope you had a good New Year's Eve. We did. We had fun. Went to Rachel's and had lots of food. Watched a movie and, yeah, spent the time together. So, we're going to start off with a very special thing that one of our viewers has done. Our viewer, Barb, sent us an incredible package.
Oh, fantastic.
Was it 2 packages?
It was 2 boxes worth.
Yeah. So,
we each got a booty.
Just a little sachet
With a little tree
it
on
smells
it.
good. Mine says sweet cinnamon and creamy vanilla.
I think they're all the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Barb. It's so cute.
This little wire.
It's a wire Christmas
tree.
Yeah.
And then she made us each. Oh, she sent us these really pretty cards. One is a Christmas card, and one is a thank you card. Thank you, Barb.
So sweet. I can't believe
Yeah,
it.
very sweet. And
Show it how and she sent us each individual
so
gift.
She sent us each a gift like this. It has a little snowman tag.
I snagged the snowman tag.
So I was impatient. They called me and said, "We got this box." I'm like, "Open my present." So they opened it over a video call.
Yeah.
But Beth wanted
And
to
So
say,
I wanted to
opened
say
mine.
how well it's.
it's so sweet.
Yeah, it's just
It's really
tied
cute with like
around
raffia or string.
with string. Yeah.
Yeah, twine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's just
It's very
I'm
pretty.
one of those people that likes to untie things rather than cut them. And I tried on Naomi's when she was wanting me to open hers, and I was like, never mind, give me some scissors.
I was like, open it!
But while she's opening that, Naomi and I can show you ours.
So that's like a little house with a sleigh and then reindeer.
Yeah,
And
little
it says,
reindeer.
would it say Merry Christmas at the top?
Yeah.
Yeah. And mine is a house with reindeer stitching. And then I have a little snowman. Isn't it cute? Love
and
it.
the stitching is so
Stitching
beautiful.
is beautiful. And the fabric she stitched on has white dots, so it looks like snow in the background. We'll take some up-close photos of these.
Yeah. Okay,
So
I'm
this
gonna.
one's mine. It's a hanger, so you can hang it.
I'm gonna cut it
Because it's
Because
tied very well.
and it would just take too long.
And we're going to insert some photos of
So
the
in
stuff
addition
that
to
she
all
sent.
this, she sent
some project bags that are like this, and some other little smaller ones, and lots and lots of fabric, and
Ada fabric, right? Or cross stitching fabric.
Yeah.
Nice.
And-
a couple of
and patterns.
a couple of cross stitching objects like these zipper pouch that has a cross stitch Ada insert or whatever section.
Oh, I see.
And something.
The reason
else,
we're not showing it is that it was really a lot.
It covered
Cute
the whole.
bird.
It covered the whole table.
Well, so we're gonna insert some photos of it all.
Yeah.
It's really
We
nice.
cannot even express how happy and surprised we were. It's like,
Yes, thank you very much, Barb.
Really
Yeah,
made,
so
you really
really
made the
thank you.
season. It was fun.
yeah.
So we're going to go through the patterns and decide if there's what we want to keep and what we want to give away, and
We had so much fabric that
Yeah.
we will give away some of those, and
and some of it. Eve was like, I want to keep this. I want to use this.
See what yours.
Wow!
Wow!
Oh, how cute!
So this one,
And she
Oh my
loves
gosh.
reindeer.
It's
so
got the
cute.
4 reindeer up here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
And then the kind of the same house, huh? And then Santa. How cute is that?
Yeah, and this is very small stitching. It's over 1. Well, it's because it's like I said, it's like Ada or something, but it's like 18 count or something.
It's really beautiful.
I think
very
it's
tiny.
impeccably done.
Smaller.
It's impeccably done. I
Yeah,
love it.
they're beautiful.
Thank you so much, Barb.
So-
Hold yours up, Beth.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna set mine aside.
That's so nice.
I have a lot of stuff on the table.
So then we thought, in addition, here, I'll stop crinkling the paper. So then we thought, since it's New Year, I saw somebody talking about their craft resolutions or whatever, and I thought, well, yeah, I need to have a lot. So, like, for the New Year, well, what are our plans, basically? So, I have 1,000 whips I need to finish.
And she plans not to throw any more cookies in the oven.
I plan to not throw any more cookies in the oven
or in the refrigerator.
Oh, I'm gonna insert. So I didn't get to do it last week because we had that very short video. But I'm gonna insert some pictures that my daughter took. I dumped hot chocolate chip cookies right into my oven. I think I talked about
Was it chocolate chip?
It was chocolate chip.
And so the chocolate melted.
So they were kind of underdone, and they slid off. The parchment paper slipped off the tray, and a bunch of cookies went in. And my daughter came and snapped pictures for me, and I'll insert those here. And then I had to let the oven cool because the whole house was smoking.
Well, but you had those others that you dropped too in the refrigerator.
Oh yeah, well So I dropped the Thin Mints the week or at the beginning of December, and then these chocolate chip cookies I dumped right like just before Christmas, and I had to shut the oven down, let it cool off. I had to do the whole oven cleaner spray nonsense because the whole bottom. Thankfully, my new oven. The burner is underneath the floor of the oven, so it wasn't on the burner. It was just on, so there's a nice,
flat area
surface, yeah. And then I found some cookie remains in my little drawer where the trays are. Anyway, so that's my New Year's resolution. I'm not dropping any more cookies.
Did you talk about how you thought your house was smoky?
No. Okay, so for Christmas, this story that comes later. Okay, remind me to tell that story for Christmas Eve. The smoky story. So that's one of my New Year's resolutions, to keep cookies on the tray on which I bake them. That is very important to me this year. No, but you saw a picture of my father under his quilt last week, and I have not done any further because my daughter's home, so my sewing machine is tied up. And so I haven't really pulled it out to do it. And then I have several. I have Hannah's quilt to finish, which she's not going to be able to take back with her because even if I were to finish it miraculously in the next few days, it's too big. So I'm going to have to mail it to her anyway. So I'm not going to stress about that. And then I'll show you when I'm showing what we're working on. I have some other knitting whips or yarn whips that I want to get done. But my big goal, because I have all these whips, I want to start a new project, which we'll talk about soon. But that's the only project in 2022 that I have planned. Is the one we'll talk about in a second. But actually, I sort of want to get back into spinning. I haven't done much spinning, and I have a sweater's quantity of that Cotswold wool that I got last year. So I'm kind of wanting to focus back on actually getting into a routine where I spin a little bit every day rather than getting obsessed and doing nothing but spinning 24/7. I really want to get into that spin every day cycle. I think it'd be better. So, yeah. So that's my resolutions. What about you, Beth?
I don't know. I haven't really
Or
made
plans. You don't have to be resolutions.
Yeah.
Just what are your plans?
I haven't really made any resolutions because,
I don't really believe in resolutions.
Yeah.
I'm just joking about the cookies. Yeah. But I mean, like, what are your plans for 2022?
Well,
do you have any?
I don't have any
Start earlier on Christmas?
Yeah. Well,
that's your goal for the year.
Well,
I think you should start Christmas 2022 right now.
Yeah. Well,
as soon as you finish this.
I was going to say with Chelsea, Priscilla and Chelsea, the Stitching with the Housewives, they used to do. They don't do it now because they spend every week working on new patterns and stuff because they come up with like at least 2 patterns, I think, every week, whatever. But they used to do things like they did Santa Sundays and Merry Mondays and Witchy Wednesdays, so that they were stitching stuff like that
Their holiday
all
stuff
year round, right?
That's nice.
So every Sunday and Monday they would do some kind of Christmas stitching or whatever. And so I kind of like that idea, but because this year I said, well, I'm not gonna do like I do every year and stitch 1,000 things and start in July, because I also do Jolly July, right? And so I thought, because then all fall I'm enslaved to stitching everything, all this Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't stitch anything for myself, and I don't stitch anything else. And so this year I didn't do that. I thought, I'm just going to stitch what I want to stitch. And I did cross stitch camp. So
and you finised so many.
You did get a lot of stuff finished.
But I did a lot of small things, but I finished a lot, yeah. And so I don't think I FFO'd anything this year, except maybe in the spring when I did the owl thing for Rachel in January. And
I think her New Year's thing should be FFOs.
yeah,
some of the stuff under her bed.
Yeah.
What if you did like an FFO a week or every other week or once a month?
Possibly, but it's like what's hard for me about FFOing is thinking through what it is I want to do, and like something like this, is hard for.
See, that's great inspiration.
It kind of like I have the idea in the back of my mind about something like that, but then actually sitting down and doing it,
Well,
but
she buys all these great things.
yeah,
for
I have
finishing.
all kinds
And
of
then-
things. Oh, this would make a great finishing piece. Oh, this would make a great finishing piece. And then
And
they're,
I
like,
even bought
in a pile in the garage.
I
that
bought
should
an
be your
extra
resolution.
rotary cutter to use just on cardboard, so that for trimming sticky board and other things.
Yeah, I just
She has yet
haven't
to
done
lay her
anything.
hand on it.
But so, and like I was looking, because I was thinking about doing for my video update of doing like a whip parade, but I thought I've got like 24-ish whips, and some of them I have not touched since I think in May. For Mania, I did like one day on each one or something like that.
yeah.
And I've done that before, but it's so I don't know if I have any goals like that specifically. I haven't really thought it through, but I like I said, I went through last night, I guess, and I was counting my whips. Because I put them all in my thread box, thing. What's it called? Yeah, it's an app. Yeah, and
Threadkeeper.
yeah, and so I've been trying to put the projects in there so that I have things that I've not started and things that are in progress, and I have about 20 something, 23, 24 whips. So I don't know that I have any specific things like that,
You don't have a
goals
plan.
Yeah, I don't.
That's okay.
Yeah, one thing I was thinking about doing is putting all my whips in the decision roulette thing, and like just spinning them and like working a week on something, or like what you were talking about the whip go board, doing something like that, because with all my whips, because then that would give me, a way to do goals on them, because some of them are really, I have a lot of stitching to do. Like on my whip mania, I've done ship mania, I've done a couple times where I have like 4, like sailing ship projects, and each of them there's just a lot of stitching to do on them, and so. And then all my other things, some of them are closer to being finished. Some of them are a long way from being finished. And I thought if I put them all in the decision roulette thing, then I could spin and work on them. Or if I did like a whipco board, I could set goals, to work so many days on each one or whatever.
I
I don't know.
I like
haven't
Eve's
decided.
going to talk about her whipcord
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
I like the idea of that because I get
It's out of your hands.
I get stressed
Uh-huh.
about it because what happens to me is like what I'm doing right now. Like I have to get this done because of this deadline. I have to get that done because of that deadline.
Well,
but
so
everything else I could.
I'm
put
going
on
to
a
go
board
ahead
like
and
that.
start because
Yeah.
we're talking so much about whip.
Well, okay. Well, I'm not done yet, but.
Well, you're not done with your goals for 2022.
Oh,
That's
well,
what we're talking
yeah,
about right now.
okay,
We haven't
We're
talked
talking
about
about
current
Okay.
stuff.
So
We're trying to have segments, man. Segments. This is the goals
so
for
here's
2022
my
segment.
here's my whipgo board.
I like that idea.
I have watched throughout the last year many Flosstubers who are doing this, and I was like, I don't know if that's for me, and I'd watch more, and I'm like, that seems like a really good way to get a few things out from, the back of the cave, where they're there and you want to work on them, but shiny things take your attention.
That's my problem.
That's my problem.
And so I had some things that I knew I wanted to take care of and do, and other things that I would like to, and I put both quilts and cross stitch. Having a quilt on my whipgo doesn't prevent me from doing cross stitch every day. It just means pick up that quilt and go work on it. And I'm not. I didn't put things my goals for the Etsy shop sewing and all those other things because that's just something that we do. And we shouldn't just fit it in. We need to schedule it like a job, I know, because, we have to take care of that now. Anyway, I didn't include my cross stitch for January that I had already planned to do. I decided in December a few cross stitch projects that I would like to work on in January and try to get done or closer to done. If I don't finish them in January, don't care. Because I'm trying to just let it go. Because I can work on them again in February if I want to, and what I liked about when I was watching the video for whipgo was she said it's your goals, your board, your rules. So I
your bowl, your ghouls.
Yeah.
Your bowl, your ghouls.
So one of the things I put
That's
on there,
October.
I cheated a little bit because I knew what the numbers were going in
For January, yeah.
for January, but only one was really concerning to me. That was this was I made sure that this was called for January, and it's not work on it a couple of days. No, finish it.
You're not far.
I've only quilted 1/4 of it, and now that I have a rhythm on that, I think it'll be faster.
Yeah.
And then another, these are the projects that I was planning to do, but I'll talk about that in my segment. So the other one that was called, that I have all the stuff for, was this itty bitty kitty committee quilt. And I have all the stuff here. I've had it for some time. So it went on the board. And I wasn't really paying attention to that one. It's now 19. So yeah, I have to start that. But I'm only working on that for 20 days. And those are my goals for January. And I love the fact that, okay, that's all I'm planning to get done in January.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
and I put in new starts, and I put in, working on stuff that I already have. Now, I didn't put all my whips in here. I chose some whips that meant a little bit more to me than the others.
Yeah.
And I can still work on the others.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't put I didn't put any of the stuff, well, I did put one, but that I chose for just working on cross stitch in January, because some of these, if there's a quilt here, I still want to work on cross stitch.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to work on cross stitch at least 30 minutes a day. As I'm relaxing toward the end of the day, winding down before I go to bed, I can sit and stitch, and that doesn't have to be a goal. But if it's a goal, then I'll spend more time on it that day, Anyway, that's my goals.
Okay. Cool. Well, you want to talk about that in projects when we're talking about what we're working on?
Yeah, but you both
Is that a
and I are
segue?
working on it.
A segue into projects?
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things I said I'm going to start a new project because shiny things. I saw what is it called? A Free Spirit Coat Story article in Missouri Star Quilt Company's newsletter. And it talked about it said quilted coats are all the rage. And I was like, really? I've not seen any quilted coats. And then after I looked into this project, I was at Target and there's a rack of quilted coats. So who knew? Quilted coats are all the rage, in case you're wondering. So
both of us decided to jump in. This is not on my WIPCO board.
And the challenge is, it started in October.
Yeah.
But I didn't even hear about it until now. And then you have to do it by April 30. Mm-hmm. So maybe I can take it to Boston with me. I'm going to go to Boston at the end of April. That's my goal. Okay, new goal. So this is a pattern. So what it is you buy a pattern for a quilted coat from Grain Line Studio, and it's called the Tamarack. We'll hold it up here. It's called the Tamarack pattern, and this is literally just the.
That's the instructions. Mm-hmm. That's all this is the instructions and another basic info
and the pattern
PDF
cutouts.
The pattern I haven't printed.
Oh. Yeah. So you can print out. You can get it by PDF, or you can order a traditional paper.
And
that's hard to find.
If you order traditional paper, you get pattern sheets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Pattern sheets. I know, and I debated, but I realized the size I wanted was selling out.
Well, I didn't want to wait.
And then, but what I liked about it is that, when you cut a paper pattern, that's it. Whereas I can print this off again and make a totally different size for Hannah or for somebody else.
Also, what's nice about these quilts is they recommend a interfacing that makes some of the piecing easier.
Yeah. Well, so you can take this pattern though and just use plain, one kind of fabric and quilt it. But then as part of this challenge, they have several interfacing plans, I guess you could call it. It's like a special interfacing where I don't even know how it works. I
watched a whole bunch of videos on it, and this interfacing, you iron your pieces on there in the section where it says the piece should go, and then you fold the interfacing and stitch on the stitch line, and it's pieced together. Yeah. Now you get that little fold, Yeah.
Which would be like your regular seam allowance.
Right. Yeah, but it's a fold, and I'm thinking that it would be similar to just ironing it one direction later on. And she did recommend that at intersections that you have to clip it so that you can do it.
So anyway, this interfacing helps you make a quilt top that is really easy. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and make your own quilt top, like if you wanted to make your jacket out of that square, you could do it.
Yeah. You
just make enough quilt top, and then you cut the pattern out of it and assemble a jacket. So I'm excited about it. The pattern I chose is called the Hunter Star, because I'm making the Hunter Stars quilt for Hannah, and I've always liked that pattern. It's a different looking Hunter Star than like the one I'm making, but but it looks really cool. And I have not chosen fabrics yet because I'm waiting for the interfacing kit to come, and then it'll tell me how much, because it doesn't really specify like how much.
It's 3 yards of each fabric, but I mean 3 yards for the front and 3 yards for the back. However,
well, you have to have 3 yards of quilting. So
yeah.
How much?
So,
how much do you need of each
So
color? You have to just
I'm
kinda...
making a Bargello jacket. I don't remember what they called it, but that's what it is. And I'm making it for Beth. Beth has not purchased a jacket for herself in what, 20 years?
I don't know. The last ones I bought I bought in Little Rock. I had my longer sort of winter coat that I used. I didn't even know when I bought it.
Yeah.
A billion years ago.
So she's out here.
But this is nice.
Yeah.
This will
she's
be nice for you.
You know, last night she's wearing that jean jacket. And she's like, and I bought myself a jacket. This is why I thought that I'd make it for her. I bought myself a jacket at Target with some gift card money that I had, and I love it.
I bought myself a jacket too.
I haven't had a proper coat for Phoenix.
You know, you don't think about it when you live here until it gets cold, and then it's only cold for like 2 days. You know, a few days.
And this is
and
more like a rain coat,
yeah.
and it is a little warm but not hot. So it gives you some warmth, but it's also like a raincoat.
And we needed a raincoat this week.
Oh
crazy.
Yeah, it's been raining. Yeah, so
yeah. Last night I was like, after we got back from Rachel, I was like,
it was
is it raining? Yeah,
it was boring.
Boring. But yeah, so we're gonna make quilted coats. You'll hear more about it in the coming weeks because we're gonna get our. Hopefully, FedEx is actually gonna deliver.
Yeah,
it won't end up in a ravine somewhere.
Yeah, it won't. Hopefully, it won't end up in a ravine, and it won't be misdirected for.
Well, last time FedEx was supposed to send me something.
All over.
I was supposed to be here like Saturday, and it came, you know, a few days later at 10 o'clock at night.
So
and
weird.
I had just happened to look at my email. I was lying in bed and happened to look at my email about 12. And it said, your package has been delivered. When? And I go outside and there it is.
Jeez.
I'm like,
so
who
we're
looks
not
for
holding
packages
our
at 10?
breath. We're not holding our breath.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're gonna start that, and you'll hear lots more about it. So now, Beth, what are you working on? What's your current state of affairs?
It's a long story. I think I had talked about last week when we did the video that I had, given Chris's
You
presents.
took all your presents back.
So I'm still not done with Eve's because it's in my FFO pile.
I would FFO it for you.
I know. And
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Finish your.
And right now I'm working on their Prairie Schooler Santa, the 2020 Prairie Schooler Santa. It's almost done.
So cute.
I'm working on this bunny.
I want it finished tomorrow. Fully finished. So I can hang it on my tree before I pull it down.
Yeah. But I have an idea actually for these.
Okay.
Because I had the Santa Claus one last year. And it's not
I
FFL
see.
either.
Okay.
But I do have a finish because I finished the Andorian.
Ah.
Yeah. So he's all done. And it matches the wall hanging that I did.
Yeah, she gave it to him and said, "Okay, give it back."
Because it was like not his face wasn't done yet, but so now it's all done.
Isn't it cute?
It's
Yeah.
so cute.
It was a good choice to put on that.
Yeah, and it's just it was really tiny and really hard. Like, oh my god, it's hard. And like there was places where like, oh, that's wrong. I made a mistake there. Like. You can't tell from looking at it, but like on one side, his eye the stitching is should have been one stitch more, and would have pushed everything. So it's just slightly off center, but
He won't care.
Yeah, you have to like really look at it and say because it's not really obvious because his nose and his eyes and everything are
You just say his head is turned slightly.
Yeah. So he's going. But so anyway, so I do have
Very cute.
finish. So I was hoping.
I should have told you to make one of the antennas cut off like here, because in one of the episodes they cut off his antenna. It was the only way to win this fight to the death thing, right? And so he cut off his antenna so he could technically win, and not the Andorian, the other person could technically win and not have to kill him. Right? and he's like stumbling around, like a cat without a whisker, and he's stumbling around and he's like, this is embarrassing.
Oh my gosh.
So I was hoping to finish this by the end of 2021 so that it would be amongst my finished object. But it's just going to have to be my first finish of 2021.
Okay, that's fine. 22, so, you mean?
Yeah, 2022, sorry. And then the other thing was, yesterday I was at Hobby Lobby for some other reasons, and I saw this, and I thought of Naomi, because it's a puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like...
I've seen that. There are
lots
piles
of yarn. Yeah. So piles. I thought that would be...
What, that's for me?
Yeah.
It's a New Year's present?
Something like that. It's just
fun.
Just because.
That's because she's still holding.
Because I'm still working on it.
No, I've thought about this puzzle several times. I like it. I like it. Cool.
While your kids are still home, you can do that.
Yeah. We did a lot of puzzles at the beginning of the pandemic, and they were like, "This is boring." That's fun. That's fun.
Well, I have two puzzles that I got. I have one that Tim gave me for my birthday, and one that he gave me for Christmas. I just, don't have the space to work on them, because this table is always being used for something,
Everybody uses it, but yeah.
Every time before we film, I have to
take all your stuff down.
I have to clean everything up.
Yeah. So because like I said, I'm was thinking about for this year, about all the stuff, but right now all I have left to do is to finish this, and then fortunately the thing about these is that once you finish the stitching, they're FFO'd already.
Yeah.
So
the towels.
So, yeah.
That's nice.
But yeah. So
did you ever finish Eva's Christmas towel?
No, it's still.
But
since I gave him the Mandalorian towel,
save it for next week. He's over in the other room.
Yeah.
That's why I was free. Okay, so is it my turn?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you recognize this familiar blue puddle in front of me. However, it is not in the same state the last time I had it. Because first of all, my son just got a job. He's going to start actually on January 10th at a law office. It's a temporary job, but still he's got to wear business casual and go to, so I thought, I better get that sweater finished. Because it's January.
He has to walk to the
he has to walk to the light rail and then walk from the light rail to the office. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. So I decided to pull out this sweater and really go gangbusters on it. And it helped that Hannah decided she told me, do you want to take my balaclava with you to show? I'm like, no, you got to come on camera and show it yourself. But she decided to crochet herself a balaclava, and we found a pattern. That's the kind of where you pull it over your head and it's like a hood, but it has a little neck and your face sticks out. So she's making that for herself. So we had a lot of time just sitting this week. So I worked on this sweater. My arm is hurting. Can you help me, Beth?
Mm-hmm.
Hold it up. My right arm is a mess. So I finished up a little higher because of I finished it's a I-cord bind off, which gives a little roll on the bottom there. So I finished the body. It took me, I told him, I think, I stitch and stitch it. I do round after round after round, and it's the same length. And then I do round and I measure it. It's like a black hole. I don't want to pull this off. But I finished it, and I got it all bound off, and I started the sleeve. One sleeve. This is the left sleeve. So I'll probably make it the recommended length of, I guess it's like 16 and a half inches from here. And the right sleeve, I'm still debating because his right arm is a little shorter than his left. So I don't know if I want to make them different lengths so that when it's on him it looks right, or I don't know. I'm still deciding. but I feel very happy with myself so that is in a good state for me. I'm proud of myself there. The other thing I'm working on, because I'm going to Albuquerque, don't forget I'm going to Albuquerque. If you guys said you had things to send that direction. I'm working on this cowl that my cousin asked me to make for her. I had started it, and of course, you know how I am. I put it away for a long time, and I took it out. And this is the project I'm taking to Albuquerque, so at least I can show her that I'm working on it. And my hook, it has to be 6 inches wide, and I measured the hook, and the hook is 6 inches wide, so I keep comparing it to the hook, like, how far am I? So I only have a few inches left.
And then it's done?
And then it's done.
That's not bad.
No, it's not bad. So that's why I'm going to take it with me. I'll do it on the plane and that kind of thing. So then you wear it, and you can twist it and stuff like that. So this is that. Isn't that pretty? That's that weird yarn. It's like tube yarn. But it's 2 different skeins of variegated yarn, and you just alternate skeins, and it does this basically just really crazy rainbow stuff. So that I'm working on. That's what I'm going to take to New Mexico with me. And my prize Christmas, I say prize because it's the one thing I was like, can I have this? And my husband bought it for me. So sweet. Is this little thing. This is a needle set by Chaigu, and I've never owned Chaigu needles before in my life. But I wanted this one. It's for 9-inch circulars, which this is the size of the cord. So like I was working on the sweater with the big long circular needles. This is the size of the circular needles, and these are the interchangeable needles that go with it. There's so little. There's a 3-inch. See if you can see it here. It's a 3-inch length, and there's also a 2-inch length. So it's really, really tiny needles, and you put those on those cords, and it makes a 9-inch or so. There's a couple different lengths, but it's to make 9-inch circulars, which can be used in socks. And I have wanted to try to work on 9-inch circulars before. And I obviously never had them. And then it has a little pouch, and it has a ruler and needle guide, and then this is a couple stitch markers and little tools to use with the kit. And I love this. Then they're what's neat about Chaigu is that for you knitters out there, is that the cords are they have no memory, so you can twist them up and they won't get bent. So I don't know if you can see, this one's tied in a knot, but it just always comes back out. It doesn't kink, it doesn't curl. So this is like, the Mercedes of needle sets, which I do not own in regular size, which one day maybe I will. When I bought the current one I have, which is Knitter's Pride ginger needles, they're wooden needles. I was debating about which needle set to buy, and I really like them because I like bamboo, but bamboo are too sticky, and metal are too slippery, and these gingers are right in the middle. They're wooden, so they grip the yarn, but they're not so grippy as bamboo. So that's why I was really looking at them. And there was a lady at the yarn shop that said, well, if you buy metal needles will last longer than wooden ones. And I'm like, bold of you to think I'm only ever going to buy one needle set in my life. But because I'm like, I fully plan to buy another set someday. But so I went ahead. So the reason I wanted these is the Knit Stars season 6 has a lady in there named Native Knitter, and she's from the Navajo Nation bordering New Mexico and Arizona. And actually her family owns one of those shops, right just before you get to the border of New Mexico when you're driving to New Mexico. There's all those shops right there. Her family owns one of those. So anyway, she's beautiful, and her designs are beautiful. And she's featured in Knit Star 6, and and I bought the yarn for her project, and it's a headband that you make in a small circular circumference, and then you attach it, twist it, and so it has a little twist right here. But it's all color work, and it's sort of based on Native American designs and that kind of thing. So, but she recommends doing it on a 9-inch circular, and I was like, I don't have any, and that's why I was like asking Santa Claus if I could have this.
Well, I remember when you were getting the yarn and stuff, you were really excited.
Yeah, and so that's one of the yarn sets that I got, and so one was for the Casapinka poncho, not a poncho thing, and then the other set I got was for
Don't make the poncho
point. It's not a crotch pointer,
but we both bought ponchos like that.
I know.
When we were in Albuquerque.
But so I got the 9 circulars for Christmas. I was so excited, and I'm like, I'm gonna start on that headband because shiny things. And even though I have 1,000 things to do, so but because Hannah's in her bedroom where she deserves to be, my box is all shut up, and my Swift and my ball winder are packed away, and I could get to the yarn, but I couldn't get to my ball winder or my Swift, and I'm like, fine. But easily accessible was this yarn that I have. Isn't that cute? Sock yarn. So I decided to go ahead and start these little, they're little shorty socks called Bay City Rose socks. I can't remember, but it just has a little rolled top like that, and then once you get an inch of knitting here, then you start the heel. But I wanted to see what it was like on these look how short these needles are. They're 2 inches long, and it's a little hard to hold, but I'm getting used to it. So I decided to start this sock just to give me a dry run on these needles to see how it was. And I like it. I like it a lot. And these socks remind me of you, so maybe I'll give them to you. But Eve, because that's your color.
Yeah, I don't wear socks.
What?
I said I don't wear socks.
I know you don't wear socks, but then you said that the shoes you bought.
The new shoes I bought.
Feel better with socks,
Feel
that's what I
better
thought.
with
But if you don't want them, I'll wear them. But
since moving to Arizona, no, I probably should have. Since moving to Arizona, I've stopped wearing socks.
I know,
Because,
but
you know,
that's why I thought maybe you needed some socks.
but
But
I used to
so
wear
the other-
flip-flops so much.
I know.
But yeah.
The other thing that I decided to start this year has nothing to do with knitting, but it could. I got this when we had our pajama party 3 favorite things. Somebody gave away these journals, and because they like journaling, and so they gave away journals, and I won one. And I hadn't opened it yet or used. Oh, look, it's got a little pocket. I didn't even know. So it's a nice little journal. And so I was at Target with a gift card. You know how it is when you don't have any money to spend, you see everything you want. And then somebody gives you a gift card and you walk through and you're like, I really don't need anything. And what am I going to do with this gift money?
Unless you're that Australian.
And then you have the dilemma of, do I want to spend it just because I have to spend? Which is how my son shops. And then I'm like, or should I save it, or what, And the one thing I did want wasn't there, which was a new set of headphones, because I washed my headphones and destroyed them. Dummy. I had them in my pocket. So anyway,
They told her she was out of date.
Yeah, Hannah and I were wandering around, and we found this whole set. This is made by Post-it note people, and it's called Noted. And these are all sticky notes, but that's a pen. But they're little sticky notes. Like this one is 4 small sticky notes, and one is in this order, 1, 2, 3. One says ASAP or later. One says don't forget, and it's got little lines to write on. And one says more of this, less of that. And so you take these and you can put them in your journal and write on them and utilize them. And then this one is 4 little ones. One says hydrate, so you mark when you drink water. Habit checker, so like if I want to make a habit of not dropping my cookies and I don't do it, I can check that off to help you build your habits. One is movement and one is mood, and it has little circles in which you can put your little mood stickers if you want. So I got mood stickers. Well, and they're also just bullet points if you want to use. So I got these little bullet dots, and then this one is also a habit. Make a habit, and it's a month of dates. So I can put the dots here too. It's got little circles. So if I want to work on certain habits, there's that. And I like this one too. Hannah really like this. This today's top 3. So like Eve's calendar, I can put this on a day and write the 3 things that I want to accomplish. You know, I could put it the night before or whatever and put that on there. And I thought that was cool. And then this is a big sticky note that is a meal planner, which I need desperately. So I thought that was fun. And I am going to use these this year. My goal is to actually use stationery that I buy, which I don't. And I also got these 3 pens because that's fun.
Because why not?
Because why not? And they have, these are felt tips, and they have all different color sets. And this is the one I chose, purple and pinkish. So that was a lot of fun. So that was part of my Christmas, and what I decided to, sort of my New Year's resolution, if you will, to kind of organize myself that way. So that's me.
Okay, so I'm still plugging away at this pattern. Hold on, let me fold it so you can actually see it. Let Heaven and Nature Sing by Sweet Wings Studio. I have gotten very little done. I am trying. I did work on some other cross stitch this week because I went to sit down to cross stitch, and okay, so I film my Flosstubes on Monday, and I film them in here by that window back there. And I brought this and some other things that I have right here over there with me to talk about on my video last week. I put everything away, but I didn't grab these and take them back over there. So I wanted to work on this, but I would have had to get up and come and get it from over here. And
I can't believe you just admitted that on camera.
That was already
What prevented you from doing cross stitch was walking.
No, it didn't prevent me from doing cross stitch. It prevented me from doing this cross stitch. I just grabbed another project to work on. So, I had...
It's too far away. I have to admit, I've used that reasoning.
That's why all my stuff is like there on the bed next to me.
So, as you may recall, sorry, the magnets stuck to each other, and the needles stuck to the magnet and the wrong magnet. Okay, as you may recall, I was working on winter holiday collection, Letters to Santa by Mill Hill. This little kit.
I thought you hated that kit.
No.
She kept, there was all kinds of mistakes.
But I got almost done and realized that I did the pattern this way instead of this way.
Oh.
Yeah, and it wouldn't fit, you know.
And so it didn't fit. And it was like, I either have to adjust the pattern or take it all out.
So
and
you took it on.
Start again. And I took it all out to start again. Because mostly, if I run out of anything, it'll be white, and it's just white, you know. And the others are DMC colors, so, you know, I'm sure I have them. But it's so cute. I want to finish it. And so, month of January, this is one of the ones I'll be working on. Okay, I started it before January because, you know.
January just started a few hours ago.
Yeah. So, another thing that I want to work on, like I said, working on this. Oh, maybe I should put this back in there. I don't want to lose any pieces of the the kit. I always see people going, "Oh, I lost the button that came with my." Oh my God, that sounds like me. Okay, so I don't have pictures for either of these because they're DMC patterns. DMC has tons and tons of free patterns on their website. You know, because they're hoping you'll buy their fabrics and stuff, but they're free. And I'm going to be working on this one this month.
Well, that's cool.
It's imaginatively titled Black Whale.
Oh. They don't want to call it a killer whale? They want to call it an orca?
No, it's a black whale. Anyway, I was debating whether to do the bottom one, but I decided to go ahead and do it. It's charted. And so I'm working on this bottom one.
Is it like a baby?
Uh-huh.
Is it like a baby?
Mm-mm. It's just another one.
That's cute.
He's just...
Oh, so you finished the top one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's cute.
And I have what I want to put it on already, so, I mean, why not finish it? I have the finishing stuff for it. Beth buys finishing stuff that she just likes. I buy stuff with a project that I have in mind. That doesn't mean I finish it and, you know, get it to the project. But this one I'm going to work on this month and try to finish it. So when I sit down to cross stitch, I have these projects.
You better make sure they're there, though.
Yeah.
Within arm's reach.
Yes. So, well, this one, I think I had taken this one back, and the only one I didn't have over here was that one. I don't know. Anyway, then there's another DMC pattern. Again, an imaginative title, Turtle. But I'm adding DMC, it's DMC colors. I'm adding Crochet to it to make it a shiny turtle. When I say that, it always reminds me of that crab in Moana.
Yeah. Shiny things.
So shiny. Okay, so I plan to work on this month. This one is more involved because of the Crochet, so I might not get anywhere near done with it, but I'm going to try. I picked smaller projects that I have some hope of getting done or close to done. And then I have these on my Whip Go. I can't remember the name of this pattern. Something about something snowmen. But they're the Hogwarts. They're the Hogwarts
houses.
The Hogwarts houses: Slytherin, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw. And I've done Gryffindor, and I got most of the snowman done. I need to finish the white, and there's some Krynic in his scarf. And I've redone these letters up here about 40 times.
Oh no.
Because...
That should be your New Year's resolution. Counting.
Well, I should have put on my Whip Go counting is hard. But I didn't. So, one of the problems with this as opposed to Mary Gryffindor is that there is Krynic in the words. And they're backstitch most of the words, but there's also cross stitch in it. And I was doing the cross stitch part and the Krynic part before I started the backstitch part of the words. And what I'm going to do this time is go ahead and do all the backstitching of the words, so I can get the letters placed in the right place, and then go ahead and fill in with the other things, because I don't want to redo it again. Now the Gryffindor one, no, this one I also, they're not the same size, these panels.
Can I see?
They're not the same size.
How strange.
They are kinda, but I had started this one this way, like the Gryffindor one, but I realized after I got, I don't know how far. I was like,
well,
that's
and
not
the
gonna
writings
fit.
are, the letters are all different.
Yeah, they are. I said, that's not going to fit. And so I had to take it out and do it this way. So this guy has been challenging. I started it in May during Mania.
Wow.
And
you started the Slytherin one? In May?
I started the Gryffindor one, finished it, and I started the Slytherin one and wanted to throw it against the wall.
Uh-oh.
It has a lot of Kreinik in it. They all have some Kreinik, but
Kreinik, that sounds like a skill, like a problem with your neck, you know. You've got chronic Kreinik.
Well, one of the
Suffering from
problems,
Kreinik.
like this one has, and they want you to do it with 2 strands, and it's thick, you know.
Mm.
But in the scarf, instead of having another DMC color, they have Kreinik, and I finally decided I want to put that in and then finish the stitching, but I might not. I might finish the other stitching first. So it's presented some problems to me. The other one didn't take me that long, so
some people use petite treasure braid instead of Kreinik because you get the sparkle and all that, but a lot of people find it easier to use. But I think it just depends on the Kreinik that you're using, that whether you're using braid or blending filament or whatever, and then like how patient you are about how it's used and all that.
The problem is, I'm not having a problem with the Kreinik so much as that it's very thick to do with 2 strands. I'd rather do it with 1. I might finish the rest with 1, but I already started with 2. I don't know. In here, I might use 1. But
well, that's what I was thinking about that Andorian towel, is that I should have done it with 1 thread because it was so tiny, and I did switch to a smaller needle, but it was really hard to see and once I had those 2 threads in there, it was very thick and very hard to tell, did I cross this X, did I and so yeah.
Well, the
so
hardest
a lot of times
part
it's easier,
the hardest part was threading the freaking needle. Because getting 1 Kreinik thread in there is one thing, but 2, because I want a loop start if I'm going to do with 2 threads, Yeah, so I might just put 1 through and start with the ends that are loose. But I hate that because then if you make a mistake, it's harder to go back. So that's me.
That's you. Story time. Story time. Oh, so Christmas Eve, I made a brisket, which we talked about last week, right? I made this brisket. I'm so proud of it.
It was good.
And the plan was that we were gonna start at Rachel's house, so I prepped the brisket. Now, I'm a little bit dumb, you know that. Basically, I'm an idiot, right? So, I bought I hear my son laughing in the other room. I bought a very large brisket, and I cut it in, so the Instant Pot recipe talks about half that much, and you cut it in 2 anyway to fit it like this in the Instant Pot. And so it was very large, and I cut it into 4 pieces, and I borrowed Rachel's Instant Pot, so I had them both cooking each with 2. So, but before you put it in, of course, you have to sear the meat. And I have a very large pan. Actually, I could have seared 2 at a time, but I didn't, because I wanted to fill my house with smoke. And so I seared each piece separately. And they seared beautifully, and I put them in the Instant Pot. But the house, because as I was searing each piece, the juices and stuff that were in the pan, they were just smoking and smoking and smoking. So when we finally got everything in the Instant Pots, and everything was set up, and we were ready to leave the house was really smoky, and we'd had the windows open and everything. It smelled really good, but it was actually very smoky when we left. And So then we went to Rachel's house, and I had the, you know, because it cooked about, all told, with the release time, it was supposed to be 2 hours. But I must have misjudged time, because it was supposed to only have like I think a 15-minute natural release at the end of its cook time. But when I got home, I thought that's where it would have been, but it was like had been in there for half an hour after its cook time or something like that. And I was like, oh no, or maybe even longer. But it worked out, and it was great. Well, while I was, so then after
as we arrived, she kept saying, "I'm so sorry, it's so smoky in here. I'm so sorry."
Yeah, and so after it's finished cooking, you know, you have to take it out and let it rest, and then you thicken the sauce, and Hannah was roasting the vegetables, and we're getting everything done, and I keep looking around, I'm like, it is so smoky in here. I feel so bad. And I kept saying that, and everyone was like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And I don't remember why. At some point, I adjusted my glasses or something, and I was like, whoa. And I took off my glasses, and my glasses, I don't know if from the grease or what, but my glasses were like completely completely dirty. And so I went in and got an alcohol rub out of my robe, and I was like, okay, I guess the house isn't as smoky as I thought. It's just my dirty glasses.
And I kept wondering why she kept saying it was so smoky. I was like, I don't see any smoke, but you know,
so
my eyes.
funny.
You know?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
You know what? That reminds me of like when you know, my phone has a fingerprint sensor thing, and you know, it was like every once in a while it would like, you know, we can't read your fingerprint, blah 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 blah, and so, you know, I was. And so finally I thought, well, maybe I accidentally turned it off because it was like not reading my fingerprint at all. And so I was looking at the settings and all that, you know, and it was, you know, so it said, you know, how to you know, use the fingerprint sensor. So I thought, oh, I'm just going to start over again. So I went to do it, and it says, you know, like to touch the different parts of your finger, you know, to the fingerprint sensor. So I was doing that, and then it would say something like, you know, unable to read your fingerprint or something. And then finally it said, clean your fingertips, your fingerprint sensor. I was like, ooh. And so I cleaned it, and it was like, bing. It worked really well. But also one time when I, the little Christmas wreath we have hanging on the front door, when I first made it, it's one of those, it's an artificial wreath from Hobby Lobby, and I, you know, glued all kinds of little things on it. And I made it several years ago when I was still in Little Rock. And so I hung it on the outside of my apartment door. And I went to take a picture. And the picture was like all smeary or something. And I thought, I don't know, there's something wrong with my camera. And it was, of course, the lens of the camera was all filthy.
Nasty.
Well,
like,
with my phone, I'll be taking pictures, you know, of product or whatever. And then I get a message. Photos are better if you clean your lens.
So the our phones take care of us like that.
Well, and you know, if for them to put messages like that on your devices means that
a lot of people
are going, there's something wrong with my phone. I want to take pictures. And, you know, and it's something simple like, you know, you got,
well, the funny,
just, you know, you throw your $1,000 phone and, you know,
drop it in the toilet.
You know,
Well, I remember one time, you remember you and I were driving around, and there was, and my phone, like, I don't know where we were or what we had done, but like my phone went like black, you know, dark. The screen went dark, and I was trying to figure out, and nothing, you know, I couldn't bring it back to where I could, you know, touch anything. I was like trying to like figure out, you know, the settings that I do something, you know, and so we couldn't figure it out, and I tried this and tried that, and so I thought, well, I just have to go to the, you know, AT&T store or something, and have them take a look at it and see.
I remember we were driving home from somewhere.
I thought, you know, there's something wrong with my phone. And so I went and I told the guy, you know, and so I don't know if it was, if we couldn't see it because we were outside, you know, and the sun was shining, whatever.
Yeah.
So I went in the store and the guy said, "Oh, yeah, there is," and he just like touched a couple of things and it was fine. It was like I feel like such an idiot.
It was
like,
one of those things where she turned the brightness way down or something like that, and so the screen looked black.
Yeah.
And then in sunlight, you can't find
Yeah.
it. You can't find it to turn it back up.
Yeah. And so and the guy just here and just like he did a couple of touches and it was fine.
Yeah.
And I felt like like those.
Here, you dumb old lady.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, but what's funny
You're
about
just too old. That's what your problem is.
What's funny about my smoky glasses was that I am constantly getting on my son. I'm like, how do you see out of those glasses? How do you? So I'm constantly like, clean your glasses, and there I was all.
Yeah, but
like those guys in the movies with their glasses.
You had an excuse of cooking all day and being stressed that your brisket, because it was the first time you made brisket.
Yeah, I was so stressed about it, but it came out so good.
It reminds me, there's a movie that I love that I always talk about it called Woman in Gold, and there's a scene. It's not Meryl Streep. What is her name? English actress. I can't remember her name, but anyway, she and Ryan Reynolds are in this movie, but she plays an older woman. And she's talking to Ryan Reynolds and talking about doing whatever for her. And so at one point, they're at a restaurant, little diner, and at one point she grabs his glasses. How do you see out of these? And she's like,
"That's me."
Spitting on his glasses and cleaning them.
That's all right. I'm with my son.
Well, you were talking about that. I'm having trouble seeing out of my left eye right now. And so I thought, maybe I should take my glasses off and see if they're dirty. Took my glasses off, I still couldn't see.
Yeah. Well, that's like I thought when it was before Eli was born. I guess I was married already, but I was living here. We were back in Baltimore, and that whole time around there, I remember I kept thinking like it would happen to me in the bathroom at work. This was before we went to Baltimore, because the bright light in there that I'd be washing my hands, and in the bright light of all the sink and everything, I would see something on my glasses. So I would think I remember thinking it was splashed water, or there was something on my glasses. I kept cleaning. And we flew to Baltimore, and my mother-in-law took us to see the Baltimore Symphony in open rehearsal. And so we were sitting in the hall in the dark, and the stage was lit up. We were kind of center, and I was looking at the conductor, and there were no cellos. And I was like, whoa. And then I'd look at the cellos, and they were there, of course, and then I'd look back at the conductor, and I couldn't see them, and I freaked out. And it was like a viral spot on my retina. And then so that's when I had that other problem earlier last year. I kind of thought it had come back, but it was something totally different. But yeah, it was really freaky. But I kept thinking it was my glasses, and it wasn't, obviously.
So, I have kind of a funny, not funny story. My son lives with us, and I like nightgowns because it's hot, and I don't want hot. I have the fan on in my room. It's winter. I still have the fan on in my room. I cannot sleep if I'm hot. So I like nightgowns. And I try to be certain, what's that called?
Modest
about, yeah. You make sure they're tucked properly if I, lift my legs up around me or something. But he often sits across a coffee table from me, and he's like, "Mom, wear pants." So for Christmas, I got a beautiful set of pajamas and another pair of pajama pants. And I've worn them a couple of days, but so hot. They're so hot. And because I'm 4'10". They don't make clothing for 4'10" fat people. Just FYI.
In case you were wondering.
So they are about this much too long. And if I hike the waistband up to my armpits, they're about this long. So, and it's just the nature of getting something that fits. You know, I go through it all the time. Any of you who are larger women,
Or
you
just
know what I'm
short.
talking about.
It doesn't even matter. They don't make clothes for short people.
No, they make shorts. They design them for skinny, tall people, and then they modify these designs a little bit for heavier people.
But not length.
But for some reason, the wider you get, the taller you are.
I've had pants where I'm like, oh, these are really nice pants, and I hold them up, and they're like, if I hold them up to my shoulder,
and you're way taller than both of us.
Yeah. And,
I'm still only 5'2", but I'm taller than either.
So I haven't taken out my sewing machine, but I'm thinking that the fabric on both of these, that if I cut them, they're not going to fray, and so why should I sew them? You know?
Yeah. I mean, you can use my serger, but I have to dig it out and rethread it and try to remember how to use it, which I need to do.
For the jacket, you're going to need it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Have you read the instructions?
No. I downloaded.
That's the first thing I did.
I downloaded the PDF.
So the inside seams, you can either do a French seam, which I feel like would be bulky to sew the other stuff on, or you can finish the seam with a serger or something like that. And
Fun.
I thought I would ask you to use the serger on mine, and
okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
I've already read the instructions.
I just downloaded
kind of sort of.
But I just downloaded them, and I'm waiting for the fusible things, and I'm gonna go. Well, I haven't printed them. That's why I haven't read them, because I don't want to read them on my phone.
I printed the instructions so that I could read it, and I watched YouTube videos so I could understand how these interfacing things worked.
Which is
why I chose the Bargella.
This is how I am with cooking and everything else. Is like the more complicated it is, the less I want to do it. Well, so like I'll be looking at a recipe and I think that looks really good. That looks really tasty. Oh, I really like the the pictures of the finished product. And it's like, oh, sounds really good. I want to try that. And then like I'm looking at the recipe and it says, has like 40,000 different ingredients and do this and do that, and I'm like, I don't want to do it. My speed of recipe is like there's a green chili chicken stew recipe from one of my favorite restaurants back in Albuquerque, but it's like there's a few steps, but like cubed chicken, you can buy that at the deli already cut up. So I just you could just throw that in, or you put a little flour in there, and blah blah blah. But then
dump it all in.
You dump this in, and you dump that in, and you dump this in, and then you stir it, and you cook it. It's like that's my speed. and if the more I have to chop, the more ingredients I have to, like those sour cream sugar cookies that I made. You have to cream the sugar and the butter together, and then you have to. And I'm like, oh, I can do it just a little bit. But the more complicated it is,
it's so worth it.
It is.
Yeah, but not to me. Not to me.
I saw you eating those cookies.
Those cookies are worth it.
I saw you eating those cookies.
Eating them is one thing. Making them is another. I am not.
For me, when I read a recipe, it's not the complication of the recipe that makes me decide whether or not I want to try it. It's how many pans it takes. I do not want to make any recipes that take every pan in my kitchen. Because cooking is fun. Cleaning up after you're cooking, not fun. And
I always tell my family, if y'all would just quit eating, I could have the kitchen clean for more than one day. I have not read. I need to print out the instructions and then read through them. But I just jumped in with both feet, and I haven't found a video. I couldn't find a video tutorial. Maybe you can help me for that 100 star one. I couldn't find it, so I might have
seen one. I'd have to look at it.
But I'm not afraid of it, so I'll figure it out.
The reason I was wondering is because I told Naomi I'm trying to decide between this pattern and that pattern,
and this is for the quilting that you do
prior,
not the actual jacket.
The piecing.
Yeah,
I'm trying to decide between the Black Eyed Susan pattern and the Lone Star pattern, but I really like the Bargello pattern.
Yeah.
And the reason why I ignore those quilts when I see them is because I'm like, oh my God.
Actually, so at least the Bargellos I've seen like on Missouri Star, it's just strip sets.
I know.
And you cut them in different widths, and then you just offset them, and that's it.
But I just, like, I don't want to try to get all those corners to match up. So, but I really like the pattern.
And
I really
apparently
like the
the
style.
interfacing kit makes it easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I watched some of the videos on this interfacing, and I was like...
It's called Quilt Smart.
Yeah.
By the way.
And I was like, oh... So the hardest part is cutting out the squares? I can do that.
That's fun.
So, but with the Lone Star, I watched somebody making it with the interface, and I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And the
you got too many hands dirty?
No, it was having to make step 1, step 2, step 3. Because you have to do it right, or the star doesn't come out right. You know.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
So, and then the way it's done on the interfacing, it didn't seem it didn't seem any easier than doing the actual star, because I've seen people do it. And then the pattern that they showed the girl wearing, I thought on back would be a whole star.
Yeah. No, it's just pieces, right?
It's pieces and like this, and I'm like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'd want a whole star on the back, and then, you know, maybe some on the shoulders. The front could be something entirely
It looks
different.
like with the Hunter Star, the stars are small, actually. The stars, and then the arrow blocks are
It's
bigger.
hard to tell from the pictures.
It is, and the fabric choices that are in the photos.
Oh,
So
kind of weird.
yeah.
But I had all along told her I just really like that Bargello, but I'm just kind of afraid of it. And because for me, one of the things that bothered me are some of the places on this where the lines didn't connect perfectly. There's a lot of things like pinwheels, and you know, and some of them were right spot on, and some were not so much. And finished is better than perfect, so okay. But I finally decided on that pattern because I was like, well, if all I have to do is stick it in the right hole and then iron it, I'm good. You know.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Well.
So I'm excited. I want to go buy fabric, but I want to get the interfacing first, because I was talking with Beth about what I want to do. I was thinking of just doing it on the back, but I don't know if I should do it a little bit on the front too. But the rest of it, you know, what I saw was just strips of color, and I like that. But I want to make it in blacks, grays.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta decide all that, and the thing about that is like, the world is your oyster, and then that's when I freeze up, you know. So I do need to decide on because the ones that I've seen, they're like almost like a word print is the main fabrics, the big pieces, and the stars are smaller, like bright colors, and I don't really like that. And I want the...
You should make it out of avocado cats.
Maybe. I want the fabric to contrast enough so that you really see the arrow blocks, and I thought in the sample coat...
you couldn't tell the star.
You couldn't see the arrow blocks. You could see the little stars, but you couldn't see the arrow blocks. I'm like, that's Hunter's star. So,
yeah.
But then I thought, I could actually... I don't know about the interfacing out that I already bought, but you could actually just make panels of whatever quilt you want, and then cut the thing out. So I don't really want to. I'd rather, you know, follow the whole, because also I want to qualify for the coat story, you know, hashtag or whatever. For my sleeve.
I think if you make a quilt, you qualify. I mean, a coat.
Yeah. Well, we better wrap it up.
Yeah, we've been jabbering away.
But we are happy to see you guys again, and we hope you're having a good start to you.
Tell us about your goals.
Yeah, what are your plans for 2022?
And thanks again, Barb, for all all the goodies.
So cute.
I can't reach mine. Or hold it up.
Cute. So yeah, let us know what your goals are for the new year, and we will see you next week. Bye.